So I'm back with my friend Michael here. We're going to be talking about not just one episode, the entire first half of season 2 of The Mandalorian. It's very different from the first season, I would say so, and not in a bad way. It's different in the sense that in the first season, the first 3 episodes was all the central story, and then they had a few episodes of filler, and then the last 2 episodes were kind of central. Here, it's not that way. Here, the first episode, it's a battle episode, but it also introduces you to it shows you the fact that Boba Fett is somehow alive, and at the end of the episode, so like it's a battle episode, but it also like does its job to let you know that what the story is somewhat. And I think the new episode has been the most like story we've seen, and we know the Mandalorian. To me, you can say if you agree with this, but to me, the Mandalorian is, out of all the shows I've ever seen, the most like a movie, but in the sense that you have these 8 episodes and you don't get to the climax until the end, and each episode kind of feels like, if you watch them together, like not a lot happens in the first few, but then when you get to the midpoint of the season, you start like, I'm not explaining this well, but do you know what I mean? Where like you watch all this happen, and like I don't know how to explain. I'm not making sense, but like the way that nothing like big stuff starts happening in the middle, and then the last few episodes is usually the best. I'm trying to think where like it does.
I know the term, but yeah, I'm blanking on the actual term for that as well too. But I do feel a lot like, season 1. Well, okay, maybe it didn't. I was gonna say season 1 kind of like had more of a slower start, and then it built to this big epic conclusion, which it still did. I mean, you had like epic episodes, like episode 3 of season 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but it still was like a much slower build up. This one, while it is slowly building up, it's kind of like they're giving you already so much goodness in just a matter of just a couple episodes.
Yeah, I think that this episode had the most like crazy like this is what we're gonna see in this show out of the whole season, maybe the series. Like just the things they revealed, and we don't even know a lot about it. The thing that they revealed, like, oh, this show is gonna connect in that way, like we don't know. But in the newest episode, it looks like that's either Snoke, Palpatine, or some sort of.
It looked a lot like Snoke, and I saw a video like breaking down all the Easter eggs, and they played over the music during that scene. And if you listen to it, Ludwig used like a slowed down version of the Snoke theme.
Oh, really? So here's the thing. I strongly dislike the Rise of Skywalker and how they like Snoke is just there. He's just in a tank. But here's what they can do, and here's what I think they might do.
But the Emperor made him.
Well, they might do what Clone Wars did for the prequels, where they're like, we're gonna try to make something interesting of this thing that isn't that good. Like how Clone Wars, they made all this stuff more interesting. Here they could try to do something interesting with Snoke being created. They can make that a motive for our villain Moff. Like he's the possibility of that he's like actually helping to create Snoke. And I think what this show is eventually going to do, whether it's next season 4, this season, I think it's going to give us characters that helped start the First Order from the Empire. Like Giancarlo Esposito's character is the most interesting to me, and I'd love to see either a book or a show or a video game to play as him.
They're gonna make a book. I can see it down the line.
That would be so cool, a video game like in Fallen Order style.
Oh yeah.
Play as him. And
that would be
that
cool.
actor, whether we don't see his own video game, I want to see him appear in these Fallen Order games.
That actor is he's so busy now with,
Well, he could do it because he's familiar with video games. He's in that new Far Cry game.
Yeah, he is. He is.
He's he's like dude, he is so busy.
He
Dude,
is with
think
the
about
boys.
this.
With this,
He was this year. He's in a prequel of arguably the greatest show of all time. He's in a super popular superhero riff show. He's in the Star Wars show. I mean, he
was casted in a video game.
He is probably the most like respectable, most busy like character actor, supporting actor. At least working right now.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think that character would make sense if we get a Fallen Order sequel that takes place during the original trilogy. That character would actually make a lot of sense to pop up.
He would. Or I could see him being like the main villain in a Fallen Order thing.
That'd be so cool. I really want a sequel to Fallen Order to take place during the original trilogy. I mean,
yeah, that'd be really cool.
That would be so cool. And he could be like the Saw Gerrera, but for villains. Like Saw Gerrera has showed up so he started in Rogue One, and he shows up in Rebels, and then the video game and the book. So it's in the sense that it's this character that connects all of the stuff together.
Yeah.
Because Forrest Whitaker, that character, he's kind of like the Rosario Dawson's character in the Marvel shows. Like, she connected them all together. I feel like Forrest Whitaker's character is kind of like that for Star Wars. Which is ironic because she's going to be in Star Wars next week.
Wait, next week?
Well, it looks like I'd bet money on it. Filoni, I saw that Filoni wrote and directed the episode.
Oh.
And it's allegedly called The Jedi. So, yeah.
And yeah, that probably does mean it. That is the case.
And I saw a rumor that said that the episode is 58 minutes long. Oh, whoa! If she's only in one episode this season, I feel like that makes perfect sense for it to be the longest one.
Yeah, because like the past two episodes, like they find a way to do so much within just such a small time frame. Like episode 3, they introduced Bo-Katan, and they had all this other stuff happening in the matter of 36 minutes. And this episode, they had a matter of just all this craziness happen within 39 minutes.
But it makes sense for Ahsoka's episode to be long, like, because if they're gonna like have exposition explaining to us where she's been, yeah. I mean, like, what I'm curious is what are they gonna tell us, and are they gonna set up her own show? I mean, what are they gonna do? I think that it would make no sense for me to cast a big actress like her and just not have her have her own show and like have her just appear this once. No matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are going to give her own. I think they're setting that up. I think like Rosario Dawson, because like the thing is that Giancarlo Esposito, he was a big actor, but he was only in maybe 2 episodes of the last season, like of season 1. Yeah. So he wasn't even really in it that much. But and he like just now popped up halfway through the season. So it's like
I think his character is going to be around a while because he said in an interview he like accidentally slipped. He was like, "Oh man, you have no idea. We have mapped. I know what's going to happen through season 4." And then they were like, There's going to be a season 4. And he's like, "Oh, oops. I maybe he shouldn't have said that." But like, the fact that the actor who plays the villain is pumped. I mean, that shows you that we're going to get some good stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think he's going to, I mean, they set up at the ending that they're still hunting down Baby Yoda to, take his, DNA or whatever, and use that for cloning, because of midichlorians. They never, even though they never fully, said it was midichlorians that he
Yeah.
had. But
Imagine an army of baby Yodas.
oh man, speaking of army, let's talk about the Death Troopers at the end
Yeah.
of this episode. Death Troopers have not been introduced to canon since like an old PlayStation 2 game that came
No,
out.
weren't they? They were in Jedi Knight 2, I think. Or Jedi
They
Academy 2.
Jedi Academy 2, they might have been. I don't know.
Wait. Yeah, but they're basically stormtroopers who have like force abilities, right?
Something like that, yeah. They're like these
Um,
very big stormtrooper like droids. It's like a mixture almost. It's like stormtrooper droids.
um,
It's kind of
yeah, I don't know, but that I just that's so interesting that they're putting this like hardcore stuff that isn't canon, like things hardcore fans like they're incorporating
yeah.
that now.
They're remaking it canon because the stuff that the Death Troopers were introduced to isn't canon anymore. But now they officially are going to be again because they're reintroducing them, which is
Yeah, the second I saw when I saw it when I saw the lab, I was like, "What is that?" I didn't realize until after I watched the episode and then watched the review that what that could be. That could be Snoke, which is that's so interesting that they could possibly connect to the sequels in that way. Like I didn't think they do that.
could it be the Emperor too? That's the one thing that
It could.
if it's like a clone of the Emperor, they could be trying to clone him.
I wonder if at one point we would see in Battlefront 2, you see Palpatine had left like a hologram of himself to like instruct Imperial people. I wonder if like Moff Gideon is probably talks to that. I wonder if we would see that at one point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
it's possible, but yeah,
Because like
this
the reason why I think it could be the Emperor more, and that's more likely, I feel, is because in Rise of Skywalker they very stupidly explained that that the Emperor created Snoke.
yeah.
And so
Um
if he's the one that created him, then you know.
yeah, the whole okay. I just thought of something. That hologram in Battlefront 2, Rise of Skywalker makes that look dumb and makes that make no sense because if Palpatine was still alive, why would he have a hologram of like that he died? Oh god. That just shows they had no plan. They did not plan that out.
Yeah.
And he literally has a hologram, our fallen emperor, so he can still be with us. But like it's just me trying to think about Rise Skywalker. It's just like it.
Yeah.
My brain is just
The
like
thing about Rise of Skywalker is that like I'm gonna always have a love-hate relationship with it because like obviously it disappointed me greatly, but it was also like I got to see the last episodic Star Wars movie opening night on my birthday. And to me that was like such a big deal. I was like, oh, I get to see this on my birthday.
yeah.
And then obviously I left
It
the birthday disappointed, but
it would have been nice if it was great.
yeah.
I they they could have if they really mapped this out. They could have connected this trilogy to Clone Wars and Rebels. They could have had a Rebels character be in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
They could have.
I mean, they set up some really interesting stuff in Force Awakens, and I'm a fan of The Last Jedi. Don't get me wrong, but that is a movie that is probably the greatest film that I have seen where nothing happens.
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
I mean that's pretty much what it is.
I think that like honestly, that could have made that movie be a bottle episode, and like this is episode 7.5.
Yeah,
I think they really, but
it needed to
I
be for everything they needed to do. They needed either two more movies or they just need or like split it into two parts or
Yeah.
something like
I
that.
remember when The Last Jedi was coming out, there were theories that Snoke was Ezra. Like that honestly that would have I would have much preferred that over him being created by Palpatine or whatever.
I mean, yeah, but um, that's
Yeah,
just
we
the whole being created by Palpatine made me so mad because like
would
That was Kylo's thing. That was such a big moment for Kylo Ren to turn on his master and to like slice his master in half
yeah.
and to do that. And it was just this huge thing he did that was completely shocking. And it was such a big turning point for Kylo. And then by saying, "Oh, I created Kylo," and he could
Yeah.
technically just make another cut, or I created another Snoke, and he could just keep on creating Snokes. I'm like, you literally just like shit all over the
What
thing.
doesn't make sense is if he created Snoke, couldn't he have had like 20 of them with the Force abilities? Who exactly? None of it makes any sense. But
There could technically be an army of Snokes that could have come out and just killed us.
yeah, it makes no sense. But I think that like it doesn't work for me even in concept. I don't think there's a way it works because Snoke being created by Palpatine makes it this is a new villain and this was just carried on from Palpatine. So it's like what Kylo said, you're still holding on. They're holding on to these original characters. You need to let go, and they should have left Snoke. Don't even mention Snoke. Create a new villain for the third one. A new villain. Have the new villain be a character who was
bringing back the Emperor. Like I told all my friends from the very beginning. Okay, like I know some people who are hyped. I told them from the very beginning. I'm like, they are crapping all over Darth Vader's arc. The best arc,
exactly.
the
He's the
greatest,
chosen one.
the single greatest arc in all of cinema history, and
Yeah,
they are crapping all over it. And it's
he's the chosen one. In the end, he kills Palpatine. Palpatine, who has done everything throughout all 9 movies.
yeah.
He does all 9 movies, and he kills him at the end. Showing Luke that the light side is where to go and everything, and then they just
and he
bring him
dies in the
back.
process. He sacrifices himself
Yeah.
to make sure he kills his master. And I actually had a debate with my friend who was like, saying like, well, see, it's the idea that he turned on his master. Sure, his master came back to life and died, but it was the idea that he turned on his master and became good again in the end.
No,
arc.
It ruins it. Even you bring him back in any way, other than the hologram. That's fine. But you clone him. I mean, that doesn't. It just it ruins it. And
I mean, I didn't even like that about the. I was happy they aren't canon anymore, but apparently now it is. But I was happy because like they did that in a book that wasn't canon like a while back. They brought the Emperor back as a clone, and I wasn't a fan of that. And then that wasn't canon after the Disney acquisition, and then now it is canon again.
If we have to have Palpatine back and canon return, I'd much prefer it be a prequel or something than have him show up in Rise of Skywalker. I mean, that would be much more interesting to me. To see him when he was young. It could kind of be similar to like it could be similar to like a serial killer movie, like where you follow the serial killer.
Yeah.
Like kind of like what's that movie? I haven't seen it, but I think it's that similar premise. There's something like Joker where you're following this guy who's sick. Except I think Palpatine is a much worse person than Arthur Fleck. I mean, he committed genocide. I mean, he played.
Arthur Fleck, he was just a crazy man who needed a hug while freaking.
Yeah, he had good intentions. He had a heart.
Yeah, while freaking Palpatine, you try to hug him, he'll just electrocute you. He doesn't care.
I could see in a Palpatine series movie, I could see a part where like he brings a girl home, and they have sex, and then he like kills her while they're having sex, and then he's like, "Good, good."
Oh my god, my friend, like he was spot on because I kept on saying, "Oh, dude, Rey's a Kenobi, Rey's a Kenobi." She should have been a Kenobi, but I
Yeah.
kept on saying that, and then he was like, "Dude, what if Rey's a Palpatine? Like, what if she's a Palpatine?" I'm like, "Who on God's green earth would have sex with that?"
That
Like,
and Rey being a Kenobi, if she has to be related to someone, that's the best option. I think that's the best option
yeah,
because that would give you another. That would give us uh she could be in the Kenobi series. Like they could have a scene where he's having a flash forward or something. They could find a way, and he spoke to her in the
yeah,
Force Awakens.
and it by having it be Palpatine and not Obi-Wan, maybe this didn't really mean much in The Force Awakens, but people theorized, and I thought it was kind of a big deal, that they had Obi-Wan say 2 words in her vision. He said, "Rey," and he said, "These are your first steps," or whatever. And that whole thing that he said in Force Awakens during her vision that she had, they had Obi-Wan say that. And I was like, oh, shoot. So does like Obi-Wan know Rey somehow? Because he says her name and he says these are your first steps. But I mean, that could also be, his Force ghost
When
speaking to
when
her.
I think about the fact that they did that, put that Obi-Wan line in there, and then made it Palpatine, that just makes me feel like my brain is gonna like twist inside out.
Yeah.
Like they went so far as to put that in there. Like, why did you? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you have? It makes
I mean,
sense.
even Daisy Ridley said she thought she was going to be a Kenobi throughout like the whole trilogy. She didn't even know. They didn't even tell her. She thought she was a Kenobi the whole time. And then they freaking said, "Oh no, you're a Palpatine." And they didn't tell her until Rise of Skywalker started filming or something like that. And it was
Some
like,
people have defended it, saying they hinted Palpatine in the Force Awakens. I think those were accidental. I don't think those were on purpose at all.
no,
Um,
yeah, I don't think because
it
like the only obvious like hint to Obi-Wan, like the only obvious hint to a character was Obi-Wan, with
yeah,
that thing.
yeah. And I mean, there is the Rey's theme. Kind of sounds like Palpatine's backwards. Don't think they did that on purpose.
Yeah,
Music. There's so many notes in music that just happens sometimes.
yeah, and I think I heard something about like how like um Kylo's theme is like has some of like Leia's theme mixed in or something like that, or is like or something along those lines. So that's how people predicted that was like his.
Well, I again, I don't think they did that on purpose. I mean,
Yeah,
it's possible. I really don't. I will defend the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi, but not to the. It wasn't. I will not say it's well thought out or like exquisitely
yeah.
designed. I mean, it's
See, the first film, like the thing I'll say about that is that yeah, okay, sure, it's a rehash of New Hope. Call it that if you want to. But the thing is I was okay with what they did in that because it was the setup. They set up some really cool stuff. I was like, okay, this is nice. We set this up.
yeah.
Let's see how you answer this in the next couple movies.
I think the way the movie ended, that's
And,
possibly one of the greatest cliffhangers in all of fiction. I
yeah,
think
but people were like wondering because they had casted Mark Hamill and they were just like, "Where's Mark Hamill this whole time?" And they pops up at the very end. And it's like, "Geez," says no speaking words. He got paid millions for that movie. Just
that's
say
absurd.
nothing and
That's
just
absurd.
turn and just take his hood down and just look at her for a good minute,
That's
minute and a half.
that's fucking absurd. Have you
Yeah.
seen? You didn't watch the Like Your Hot especially yet, right?
No, not yet. Not the like
Okay.
44-minute one, but
Yeah.
I've heard some decent things.
It's okay, but
Yeah,
it's definitely worth a watch. It's
that's what
definitely worth
most
a
of
watch
them.
because
Yeah.
it does some things that like, oh wait, this is actually worth watching.
Yeah, I hear that there are some cute jokes and cute moments in it. Like I heard one about like one with like Admiral Akbar, where like they're opening or like the Emperor or something is like opening up a gift or whatever, and then like Admiral Akbar's like, it's a wrap, or
Yeah, no,
something.
but
So
they do something non-jokes. They do something. The plot of the movie, it
okay.
connects to one of the animated series in a big way.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but I don't know if it's canon or anything. It's just interesting to look at what they did. But
As long as it doesn't connect to the Resistance series, I'm fine.
it's actually like, oh yeah, I can't say this without spoiling, so I'll just not. But it's okay, but it is probably better than Rise of Skywalker as a film. Um,
It's yeah, I know it references Rise of Skywalker because I think it spans like all the
yeah,
movies, right, or something like that.
yeah. Well, it's I can't tell you how it spans all the movies without spoiling it.
Okay. Oh,
But yeah, it's yeah. I really can't say anything without the plot of the movie is a spoiler. Um,
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I didn't expect this from a 40-minute kids holiday special.
Yeah, I mean that's like some Avengers Endgame or Blade Runner 2049 stuff where it's like the
Yeah.
whole plot is a
Well,
spoiler.
my biggest problem with it though is that instead of the great humor from the Lego movies, it's more of the bad humor of the Lego games.
Mm,
About like 15 to 20% of the jokes work, but the
yeah.
rest is like the video game humor, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so like
I was always a guy who like I don't know why I'm not big into Lego games anymore, but I was always so big into like the Lego games when the Legos never talked, when they would just be like ooh, ooh,
oh,
ooh, ooh, and they would just like mouth everything, like or mime everything like that. I was so into that.
I
Like
don't know why did they do that.
that was my thing because like I guess because they were Legos and Legos never uh, originally were like, well, Legos can't talk, and then until they made the Lego movie, and then once the Lego movie came out, they were like, well, I guess
Yeah.
they can now.
So let's start with the premiere. So the
Yeah.
season premiere starts with we see Mando and Baby Yoda. They're going to like some Star Wars wrestling or Star Wars boxing. I don't know what cage fight, what you call that. Um, which is funny that they're doing that because Gina Carano is from WWE. Yeah, and it's funny
Yeah.
that she's not in that scene. That's what I find really funny, is that they
Yeah.
did that
She
and
kicks
she's not.
butt. She kicks butt later on, but
Yeah, but
yeah.
okay, so they go in here, they watch this fight, and he's with wait, what's the name of the actor that's in that scene? He's a big actor. Oh, who is that? Oh, I can't remember his name, but he's a
Are you
somewhat big actor.
are you talking about the alien guy or the one eye? That's
Yeah, 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 yeah.
hmm.
Oh, what is their name? It's no wait, I know this. Let me look. Thank God IMDb now has individual episodes of shows.
Yes, thank God for that.
Thank God. Dude, I
Like
fucking hate that they never had that. Um John Leguizamo. That's what it is.
no,
Um
no, it's not.
yeah, it is. That was John Leguizamo. He
That
was
was okay.
Gorge.
Sid the Sloth was that guy.
He played Sid the Sloth. Oh
John
yeah,
Leg-
yeah, yeah,
John
yeah, that's
Leguizamo.
him.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
That's insane.
Yeah.
His voice was so freaking deep and different. Oh my god, I would have
Yeah.
never known that unless you told me that was, or I looked it up. That was so. He was
Wait,
so
he was
unrecognizable.
he was in When They See Us?
Yeah, he played one of
Oh,
the
the
one of
Raymond Santana Sr.
yeah, he played the dad of Raymond Santana.
Wow. Yeah, John Leguizamo. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the Mandalorian does. They have these big actors just show up as
Yeah, I mean,
like just cameo.
and I also know him from the John Wick movies, but
Yeah.
um,
Um but Timothy Oliphant, that's the big focus up. So they go to this fight and he's like, I'm looking for Mandalorians, people who look like me, and he's like, I'll pay you to tell me, and he's like,
my mom's
how
celebrity crush,
about
Timothy Oliphant.
but he's like, how about we bet? we bet on it. If this guy wins, and it's kind of cool. They incorporate all the canon. The guys fighting are the creatures from Return of the Jedi. I don't know what you call them, but they're like pigs. You guys
Yeah.
are
I love they brought them back. That was so cool. I
and
was like,
they looked so good because they're practical.
They did.
That's
A
dude,
lot of like this show is using practical effects. And I love that.
dude. It's just it's crazy how much better it looks when it's real.
Yeah. Like if you
Like,
compare this to what like the prequels look like,
oh god,
it's just kind of
oh
like yeah, so
yeah. But I mean, I could have a whole episode about my thoughts on practical effects versus. I think you could do a mix of the two, but never do full CGI.
yeah.
There were
Like
some
Mad Max
well,
Fury Road is a perfect example.
I think there's some times where you can do full CGI. It really depends. Like
Yeah.
if it's like, it depends. But when you're having like creatures like this, you can do a little CGI, but just do practical. I mean, Baby Yoda looks so good.
Does. Oh my god. And like the in all the aliens, all the creatures look so good in this.
Yeah,
And
but
they
those.
have upped the production value this season.
Oh
'Cause,
yeah.
like,
Well,
by
we'll
a
talk about
lot.
it in a little bit in
Yeah.
this episode how they do that in a big way in this episode. But so we're seeing the creatures fighting, and Mandalorian's like, no, I'm not gonna bet. I'll pay you whatever I need to pay you. And then he says, okay, fine. And then he shoots one of the guy cheating, and then all these men point guns at Mando. So he's betraying him, and he's like, I'll take all your best armor. And the funniest part of this is Baby Yoda knows the drill. A
Yeah.
bunch of bad guys are gonna die, so he shuts
Is
he
that
shuts his
yeah.
little. That was hilarious. And I love I'm like, no, he's not going to do the thing. He's not going to do the thing he did last season, and he does, where he makes all the rockets go at the different guys, like the
Oh yeah.
stormtroopers.
That was so
and
cool.
and then we see, and then he takes out all those guys. He runs out of there, and John Leguizamo runs away, and he shoots him with like a what do you call it? It's like a rope. What do you call that? Batman. It's what Batman uses.
It's a grappling hook.
Grappling gun. Shoots it. John
Grappling gun.
Leguizamo at Sid from Ice Age, and he pulls him and he hangs him upside down. And he gets him to tell him the information on Tatooine, and he's like, Tatooine. There's no Mandalorians on Tatooine, and then because there is one, but it's not. No, not what he's looking for. But he hangs him upside down. He's like, if you tell me, I'll let you go. And he's like, let me live. Don't kill me. He's like, I promise you, you will not die at my hands. It's exactly like in Batman Begins when he says, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either.
Yeah.
He lets all these creatures eat at him. And he walks away and heads to Tatooine. And I just love how Baby Yoda's watching all this murder and violence. And he's just like, there's a part in the newest episode where they're flying upside down and spinning. Baby Yoda's just like, yay!
Yeah, I love that.
I can't even. It's so funny. But when he takes off, he goes to Tatooine, and this is another example. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau know how to connect. This series is already done multiple times with the sequel trilogy. Should have done connect books with movies, TV shows with movies, TV shows with books.
Because the thing is the book audience isn't going to be the same as the movie audience all the time. Like the vast majority of the people who watch the movies are not going to read the books.
But then when you but in my opinion, you gotta connecting them, even if it's a small way, like Cobb Vanth, a tiny way, a character that's new to us. It's new to me, but now I'm gonna read those books because I like that character. Literally, dude, it's literally so easy. In the sequel trilogy, they could have just referenced one of the books in one line. Like, that's literally, and it's disrespectful to the authors in the books and the fans of the books. They read this book, and then the movie comes out, and they don't even reference it. Like Leia got her own. I mean, Leia had like her own trilogy of books, right? The like Aftermath or whatever.
Yeah, she did. In fact, I might actually have one. Let me check and see if I've got one. But I think I actually have a Leia book.
I need to read those so bad because I love Leia, and you know, I would have liked for them had Carrie Fisher not passed away. I would have loved to see a Leia series or a movie, like Carrie Fisher, old grown up Leia, um, as Commander, and um, to me, Leia has a character that the originals are great. They're amazing, perfect masterpieces. But I would love to see Leia get her own story because she's not. It's Luke's point of view, um, and it's just that's one of the things that like it's just so sad. Carrie Fisher passed away.
Yeah, here it is. This is a really good book called
How long is that?
Claudia Gray.
How
Called
long is that book?
Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and it was about 407 pages. So
Okay, that's pretty. And how many did they make? Was it a trilogy?
well, this one was a standalone book. This was before A New Hope. This one was, and this was about kind of her journey, kind of between what you saw with Rogue One when she popped up in Rogue.
No, I looked it up. It says it's a whole trilogy, Star Wars Aftermath trilogy.
Oh, awesome!
Wait, no, there must be. I think
Because
they're not. They're not all about Leia, are they?
because this they're not all about Leia. No, this is one that is about. There was one called like Bloodlines or something like that. I think that also had to do with Leia.
Okay.
Something along
Okay.
those lines.
But it's like the movies, these books are canon. They're
Yeah.
canon. And these, I've heard they're all great stories and they don't connect them. I mean, it's like Mandalorian, they introduce us. It's kind of like they're going to do with Ahsoka. It's going to be a new character to the Mandalorian, to Star Wars casual fans, to us. We love Ahsoka just like Luke.
It was a wasted opportunity for Catherine Phasma because she was so awesome and so badass in her novel that she was in. In the like whenever they actually introduced her in the books and stuff, and I was like, why did you not make this her character in the movie? Why didn't you implement any of this? You just
They could have even had one like 2-minute flashback, and that's all you need.
exactly.
Literally, you don't like people like, oh well, you can't expect them to do a whole backstory. I'm like, they don't need to. You could literally have 2 lines, and that'll make her a better character.
Yeah.
Literally,
some form of
her character is just, to me, that pisses me off, especially because they casted such an incredible actress.
Yeah.
And they did her so dirty. And, like, people love the character. It's like Boba Fett. They love the character because they love the design, but, like, you had an incredible actress.
And it was just, and like Boba Fett, it was a character who was just there, just kind of did nothing.
I think that would be a perfect character to at one point. Could she be in the Mandalorian? No, she wouldn't be part of the First Order yet, right? She would be like a kid, wouldn't she?
Yeah, I think she would be a kid.
Yeah. I'd love to see that character get another chance or something. Or unfortunately, it's probably never going to happen.
There's many sequel characters I can think of that they botched that I would love to see get
Maz Kanata.
Another chance, like Maz Kanata. I think that they could have done Rose way better.
Oh God, I feel so bad for that actress.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't deserve all the hate that she got of like sending death threats to her or whatever. That was like,
listen, dude. I think that her performance it just feels like she's out of place a little bit to me. Yeah. But I think the actress does a great job. I think it's just the way the character is written.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with her herself. It has to do with the actual writing.
But even if I did dislike her acting, I still wouldn't be calling her people call her like a fat ass and very racist Asian,
Yeah,
bad things to say.
yeah, they were
And
saying like, how dare they cast an Asian woman and all this stuff, and it was.
and then I saw people say like forced politics casting an Asian woman. I'm like, what? How is the political casting an Asian
Did you,
woman
did you ever see tweets like that when the first trailer for that very first teaser dropped
for the Force
for
Awakens?
Force Awakens, and then people were like,
Fortunately,
and then
fortunately, I
people were like,
didn't.
a black stormtrooper.
Uh,
Oh my god, this is forced politics because of a black stormtrooper. And it was like, because I guess since stormtroopers can't be black, apparently. It,
dude, the honestly, making that character somehow political would have probably been more interesting than anything we saw with Finn. I mean,
probably it would have been more interesting
Finn
than him shouting right 80 times.
Finn in the Force Awakens was so good. It was
Yeah.
so, and that character was so interesting to the point where that actor was so good that they were gonna kill. I think it was Poe off, but those actors were so good together. They were like, "Oh, let's keep them around." Um,
Yeah. And to me they should have, because like the whole scene was just kind of pointless after Rose saves him. And since Finn did nothing in Rise of Skywalker, they honestly should have just like killed Finn when he goes and he's trying to drive that ship into that thing to explode it and make sure that everyone's safe. That ends his character arc, and he dies a hero. He saved.
there's so many. You know what here who was my pitch for Finn in The Last Jedi, and here's my pitches. Instead of going to this casino planet or whatever crap that it was, it's fine, but not in this movie. It like just doesn't. It feels. Here's what they could have done. Finn and Rose are going to this. They're like going on a mission to find to like get supplies for the ship or something, but then they end up crashing on some planet and finding like some old Jedi artifact or something. And then it leads them to, maybe it leads them to like Ahsoka or something like that. Something where they find some old artifact and then they get back, but in getting it back, like Rose and Finn are stuck in a ship and only one of them can survive. And then he like crashes himself like into the First Order ship. Something like that. But like I don't think you need to kill him, but if you do, I mean, they had it right there. They could have killed him right there. But I just feel
Yeah.
so bad for Finn because he said he was a diversity hire, which is fucked up because the fact that the possibility of him being hired just because black is sad because I actually think he is very talented and did deserve to be hired for his talent. That's what's sad, is he actually did.
Yeah.
He was worth. I mean, so
And it's, yeah, and it's a shame too, because like you had him being feeling like he was disrespected because he said none of them knew how to really write for a person of color. And then also they Ray Daisy really felt disrespected because she didn't know half of the crap that was going on set. And it was kind of stupid keeping
yeah,
anything like that. Like that's what makes the Mandalorian so great, is John Favreau had this thing planned out,
yeah.
and he and Kathleen Kennedy didn't interfere. She let him do it.
And you hear about what Giancarlo Esposito spoiled in an interview, season 4. They know what's going to happen. See, they have this mapped out,
Yeah.
and and as much as I complain about the filler episodes, they could have half of each season be filler, and go to season 5, and they'll still get great viewership.
Oh yeah. The
Because
only thing they could do that would actually make their viewership drop incredibly is if they ended up killing Baby Yoda. That's the only thing that would make their
or
viewership
well,
drop a lot.
do you think he's going to be out of the series once they get to the Jedi?
I mean, that's the thing is, like, like I kind of feel like the show can't go on that long
Yeah,
if it's supposed to be him delivering the child to where he belongs, then I'm like, how far can you really go with it?
Yeah, how many seasons? If that's the plot of the show, like, can they really go past like 4 or 5?
Yeah, I feel like 4 or 5 is like kind of where they would kind of like
Yeah,
end things, and then they would kind of focus on doing other live action series, just so they're not like stuck into doing that one show for many years, and then they get
but
like,
I do think they could still have Mando show up in other shows.
yeah, they could.
Yeah, like if they do an Ahsoka show, you could have Mando in there. Are they gonna train Baby Yoda like at his current age?
I mean, maybe he certainly needs training and wiring a ship.
Jeez, that was
That
okay. So let's
that is
let's let's continue.
that is my favorite Baby Yoda moment I've seen so far. That was so cute, and I watched it. I watched it with my mom, and she's obsessed with Baby Yoda, and she was just like, ah,
But so they get to Tatooine and they're on this. They're not Mos Eisley. It's not Mos Eisley. It's like a rundown area. Um, and he goes into a bar. It feels much like a western. He goes into a bar and he's like, "Have you seen anyone like me?" He's like, "Right over there." And like, Boba Fett, episode 1 already.
yeah,
But it is, but it isn't. It's his armor, but it's a guy called Cobb Vanth, played by Timothy Oliphant, who I immediately woke up to him trending on Twitter because people were thirsting over him in The Mandalorian. Um,
my mom
I saw
was.
people. It's it's interesting to me that people thirst over older Timothy Oliphant versus younger.
Did you hear the complaints that people? And we'll get to this once we get to episode 3. And so the viewers know what we're talking about. But I'll just say this for now. But did you hear about the apparently all the complaints and backlash against the like armor boobs in
I
episode 3?
look. I looked into that, and I'm 100% of the mind that there's a lot of unnecessary sexualization of women in fiction, but I don't think this is that. I don't think that's the case here.
No, I mean
Um,
that's how breastplates were designed
yeah.
for.
In this case, like it's that's literally just how like it has to be.
Yeah,
And it's not like she was standing in like sexual poses um
yeah,
like I saw a cover of that Star Wars comic Dr. Aphra and she's like on a motorcycle and her like butt is out and I'm like, okay, that is unnecessary sexualization.
yeah.
That is, but this was no, that's just how it is. I mean,
I mean,
dude,
if I remember correctly in Rebels, I thought it was like the same way too.
um I believe so. Honestly, it probably was. But that's 100% women get unnecessarily sexualized a lot in fiction, but this is not the case here.
Yeah.
And I've seen women say the same thing. That's the 100% the case. It's yeah. So episode 3. Oh, that is okay. So much talked about there. But yeah. So we meet this guy. His name is Cobb Vanth. He was in the Aftermath novels with Leia, right? I
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's not Boba Fett. It's a guy who found his armor, um,
Bought
and who's
he
he
bought it
yeah, he
off.
bought it off Jawas.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's another kind of like the Last Jedi, subverting your expectations. Like, oh, it's Boba Fett. No, well, no, it's not, but it's still really cool.
Which I actually
Um,
thought they bought it off Jaws until they showed the whole like Boba Fett reveal thing. I thought that was very lazy writing, honestly, in the very first season, because it's like kind of like everything. It's like, oh yeah, I bought it off of this, or I got it
yeah,
off this. I feel like bought it off Jawas is just kind of typical.
yeah. I can see that, but
Very kind of-
I'm just the
very-
fact that we're halfway through the season and we still haven't seen Boba Fett come back. I I'm not surprised that they're giving him his own show. I mean, that's not official, but the
I
people who were
I think
reporting
it
it,
officially confirms because everyone wanted to know who the feet were in the filler episode of season 1. and now I think we all know that the feet were Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Well, honestly, to me, so I think that was from Deadline of Variety, the Boba Fett show thing. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
here's the thing. When the Ahsoka news was out, I saw people, which to me this is ridiculous. And people say, I don't believe anything if it's not Lucasfilm. These are professional journalists. They don't make shit up. I mean, this is not like
Yeah.
it's not like Screen Rant or like what's that one? We got this covered. I mean, these are these
There,
are
yeah, there's so many people who will like see the whole like oh my god, like when they made a whole we got this covered, posted a whole article talking about how Lucasfilm is remaking the Star Wars trilogy.
oh god.
The new sequel trilogy. And
Did they
like
get that?
so many people in groups and stuff I saw just fell for it. And they just
So you'll believe that crap, but you won't believe Variety and Deadline that are
yeah.
professional. I'm pretty sure that remake thing originally came from that Doomcock guy.
Yeah.
Uh, oh god, that guy! I try watching his videos. Oh, oh god, it's awful. Um, I don't want to waste my time talking about that dude. He's just
Yeah.
everything I hate about Star Wars fandom. But yeah, so it just pissed me off when people are like, "Oh, nothing." Look, it's not official, but it's highly likely. They don't. They usually don't make these things up. Um, but yeah. So and I'm. It's still possible that we're going to see Rex this season. It's still possible. Here's why: because
Yeah.
in that original report about Ahsoka and Boba Fett, it said it's not 100%. We don't know for sure if he's playing Boba Fett. He also could be playing Rex.
The only thing is that debunks that is I remember at like Star Wars Celebration or something, they announced that in Return of the Jedi, there was that scene where like Han was with all those rebels and they were going through that like and it was on the Battle of Endor or whatever, and there was a rebel that they pointed out to on the left, and um and he was kind of very old looking, and that was supposedly supposed to be Rex.
Yeah, well, they confirmed that it's Rex. Yeah,
But if that's Rex, then obviously the guy who we saw isn't Rex because he's too
yeah.
young.
It's no. Oh, well, that
Yeah,
guy's obviously Boba Fett.
yeah.
I mean, that's
I
not a question.
I mean,
Well,
maybe Rex does pop back up in this
no,
season later on.
yeah, no. Oh no, I think if we see Rex, that's definitely not Rex.
Yeah,
Because if it was Rex, he would have the hair. I think the reason that Boba Fett's bald is because something when he got out of the Sarlacc pit. It probably has something to do with that. Um, but yeah. So I think it's possible we're gonna see Rex. It makes sense for him to be with Ahsoka. That would make sense.
yeah.
Um,
Good. I mean,
and
I'd be down for it.
but yeah. So this guy who's in Boba Fett's armor, he's the sheriff of the town, and Mandalorian's like, "Give me your armor." He's like, "No," and then we hear some sort of like earthquake, and they call it a crate dragon. It's like a dragon, but it doesn't fly. It lives like
Yeah,
under the sand in Tatooine.
It was introduced, or at least its fossil was introduced in A New Hope.
Yeah. No. When they're driving through the desert on the speeders, they actually drive past the skull that C-3PO and R2-D2 were walked past. Or
Yeah,
like it's the same kind of. So this dragon is the same as the skull that they walked by in the original. Um,
yeah,
and they even reference A New Hope again when the sound the dragon makes is the same sound that Obi-Wan makes to scare off the Tusken Raider in the
yeah.
original.
I thought that was really cool.
That's so cool. So he was scaring them off because he knew they were scared of the dragon.
Yeah,
But so he says, if you help me defeat this dragon, I'll give you the armor. So that's the plot of the episode. It's a battle episode, but they also set up stuff. It's a good premiere.
yeah,
But this battle, we eventually see a battle with the Tree Dragon, which is incredibly directed by Jon Favreau. I mean, this is this is possibly the
shot
best.
shot in IMAX, which is
Yeah, possibly one of the best action scenes I've seen in direct since the original Iron Man.
like
Um,
the scope
it's
of it was huge. It was like it was because it was shot in IMAX. Maybe it was because it was shot in IMAX, but like it was better. Like it was a better action set piece than maybe anything I've seen in the new movies. Like I felt like I was in a like if I was sitting in a cinema, I felt like I was like watching a big budget
yeah.
movie.
I still think I'd put the crate battle a little above it. But it was pretty good. But yeah, the fact that IMAX, the scale of this episode is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
they're putting movie budget on this. And it, yeah, in IMAX. Oh god, it looks so good in IMAX. And they have the shot where they pan into Cobb Vanth's face when he sees it, kind of like in Jaws. And it's the way they film it is so good. But yeah, I think that the episode ends with we see Boba Fett is watching. I mean, it's very likely it's Boba Fett. And so he's gonna come back sometime this season. We just don't know when.
Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling. Yeah, I have a feeling they'll probably not bring him back. Like, I have a feeling they're going to bring him back in like the second to last episode.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Something like that. But
yeah, it's yeah. We'll see what happens because next episode's going to be Ahsoka. I think it's just the whole episode's going to be her.
I think so.
But what's so actually, I'll wait until we get to episode 3. But yeah, so the episode ends. Boba Fett. That's it. Then episode 2 is really fully a bottle episode. But I loved it.
Oh, it was an amazing bottle episode. I loved it.
So directed by Peyton Reed, Ant-Man. I mean, he's the guy if you want to do a comedic episode. But here's the thing: this episode is comedic, but there's some horror elements.
Oh yeah, I have never felt this intense watching a Mandalorian episode in a while. I was gripping my chair and I was like, I was like freaking out. I was watching it. It was like crazy.
Yeah, Baby Yoda is so cute that cancel culture can't even take him down.
Oh yeah,
he's just that cute. He's just that. Here's that's just the dumbest thing ever because it's not like the show is encouraging his behavior.
Yeah,
it's like
a baby. What do they expect?
Well, okay, but I would understand if the show was saying encouraging his behavior, but it's not. The show is literally telling you he's a baby and he don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's literally he is a baby. He needs to eat. He's hungry, and the eggs weren't even fertilized yet.
But even if they were,
yeah,
the show isn't encouraging it. It's just he's just a dumb baby. It's not saying eating eggs, it's good. It's just he's a baby and he doesn't know he doesn't know anything. But the funniest part about episode 3 is that he's playing with the frog and he wants it as a pet. So it's wait, this was a baby?
and it also just goes to prove that Mando is probably the worst father ever because he turns his back for 1 second as he's freaking helping out this frog person, can't even watch over this son that he's kind of mentoring, and Baby Yoda just causes a bunch of havoc that we're gonna get into.
He really needs to install eyes in the back of his helmet.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, so this episode they're going to this planet. It's unknown what the planet is. Some ice planet with spiders, but so he goes to what's her name, who Amy Sedaris' character. And he's like, I'm looking for someone who looks like me, and she's like, oh, my friend can hook you up. He knows someone. And I didn't realize until after I saw the episode that this was kind of a reference to Ant-Man. because it's the giant ant guy. This giant ant guy tells him, "Oh, if you I have a friend. Deliver her here with her eggs or whatever." And so he delivers this frog lady, and this becomes the episode becomes like a what do you call it? Like what's the movie with the two opposite roommates? What am I thinking of? But it's like Mando is the opposite of this woman. She's a frog. He doesn't speak her language. He's like, "Do you speak Huttese?" And she's like, "I don't know what the hell you're saying."
Yeah.
But the character design for her was really cool. She looks real. I mean, she looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, that's another thing too. That was like that was also a practical effect.
And the comedy was incredible. When
Oh man, the beginning with the jetpack was like,
oh my god, I loved when they were crashing and she just screaming.
but yeah,
But
my favorite scene is where, for comedy wise, is where Baby Yoda is captured by that one guy, and then he offers to trade him his jetpack for Baby Yoda and stuff to come back to him, and then Baby Yoda's cute, he's like that, crying into his
oh yeah, that opening scene was hilarious.
He hugs him, and then he hands him the jetpack, and he just turns it on. It goes flying, and it just falls down, and the jetpack comes back.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So Baby Yoda, so he leaves for some reason. He doesn't tie Baby Yoda up, like lock him in his chair. For some reason, he doesn't do that. Baby Yoda goes and he puts his hand up to they're like in a it's like liquid. It's like a canister or something because they're frogs. They need to be underwater. So they're in there, and he puts his hand up to it, and you think, oh, it's a heartwarming little moment. He's gonna connect with the Force and maybe give them some sort of power. Nope, he's eating them. He's they're going full absurd Ant-Man comedy.
My mom thought, like, when she saw it, she's like, "Oh, he's gonna do something cool, or there's gonna be something special here."
But that's great comedy directing because you think it's gonna be one thing. It's like you've seen this in like MCU movies or Ant-Man where like, oh, it's gonna be this inspiration. Oh no, never mind. But he eats some of them, and Mando stops him, and then I think later in the episode he eats like another one.
Yes,
It's
he's just running.
God. And they end up. Here's another connection to the sequel trilogy and to the books. The New Republic, the Rebel. It's another connection. The New Republic. So these people probably have met Leia and Luke. This is what I like, is the connectivity when they do this. These guys are part of the New Republic, and he ends up crashing on this ice planet, and then they ended up helping him. But it's a nice little adventure, It's not central to the plot, but I think it was very good at being what it was trying to be.
Oh yeah.
I feel what did you think of seeing X-wings or Y-wings or whatever, and seeing New Republic?
I thought that was really, really cool that they're really kicking off this New Republic universe that they're making now.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really neat to find a way to interweave that in a season that is like interweaving kind of all of it. It has sequel era, it's got prequel era,
yeah,
and now it's got the New Republic.
Dude, that's crazy that they're like prequel, sequel, and original stuff.
Yeah, that is crazy. They're finding a way to combine all these different eras into one season and not make it feel overbloated.
Forced. It's not forced because they're small things.
Yeah.
They're not necessary for the show. They're unnecessary, but it's great to see. It makes the show better.
It does.
It's that was cool. And then one of the guys is played by Dave Filoni, writer of the show, of Rebels and Clone Wars. What I want to know, I wonder if it's the same character he played in Rogue One, or if it's like a different. Because wasn't he played one of the pilots in Rogue One, right?
He did, but since he was also a pilot in Mandalorian, and this is in season 1, and considering this is Mandalorian, I feel like he'd be playing that same pilot again.
Oh wait, he was in season 1.
Yeah, in the second, I think it was the second
Wait.
Deborah Chow directed episode, but or
Oh no! You're wrong. It was episode 6 of season 1.
yeah, it was now. It
The
was an episode.
prisoner.
It was episode
Huh.
6 of season 1. Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
that's
It was that episode. He played the rebel pilot. Deborah Chow played a rebel.
wait,
Deborah
dude.
Chow
What
played a
the
rebel pilot
hell?
in that episode.
Wait, how did I not know this? I knew he was familiar. The guy Mark Boone Jr., who he was in the prisoner episode. He plays the big guy that's like Mando's old friend.
Yeah.
Do you know what he was in?
He was also in Batman Begins.
Yeah, I knew he looked familiar.
And get this, a fun piece of trivia. You know how Christopher Nolan uses a bunch of different actors in all of his movies, like
Yeah.
the same actors in all of his different movies? Mark Boone Jr., everyone, if you ask someone, who's the first actor that Christopher Nolan ever reused in a film, people are going to answer the obvious and be, oh, Michael Caine. It's actually Mark Boone
It was
Jr.
him. He was in. It says he was in Memento.
Yeah, because he was also in Memento.
Yeah.
And so he was the first
Oh
one.
shit! I didn't realize this dude was that old.
Yeah.
Dude was born in 1955. Oh, wow. But yeah. So I really like that. And then the episode, they escaped from all these spiders, which were the same or similar to the creatures in Rebels, an episode of Rebels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, the design of those spiders was so scary.
Oh my Lord. And my horror geek in me was so happy. It felt like Ridley Scott's Alien combined with like John Carpenter's The Thing. And the reason why it had like the mixture of The Thing in there is the snowy environment. And it also, the music kind of had that like The Thing feel. It was like boom, 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 boom. It was like super intense. It was like, yo. And once those spider things showed up, shit got real, and I was just on the edge of my.
Dude, literally, it's all Baby Yoda's fault.
No way.
He ate the one.
He ate that one just because he's so hungry. You already ate so many eggs already. How are you not full? You know, like, are you a bottomless pit? Like,
literally, the spider was gonna mind its own business.
Yeah,
but he had to do that. That whole thing was like greatly direct. I mean, it was like so intense. It was so scary, and then
with the production value, it felt like I was watching like something out of an Alien movie. Like it was a big movie spectacle scene. It was really epic.
Yeah, and then they leave the planet and they go on their way, and then episode 3.
I just gotta say, dude, like that episode, it got so intense. Like the part where it's like crawling on Baby Yoda's head, and thing about to go down there and like bite his head. I was like, oh my god, how's he gonna get him? He's holding the door. He's holding the door, baby. How is he gonna get Baby Yoda? The frog lady. Thank God for that frog lady. Jeez.
Wait, have we seen her stick her tongue out like a frog?
Daughter, no, not yet. But we
need to see that.
But luckily, she had a gun on her, so she could shoot that thing off of Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Great. So episode 3 is huge Rebels Clone Wars connection. Humongous. So let's start out. So the episode starts. Hey, I'm trying to think. Wait, what was the opening scene of episode 3?
The opening scene of episode 3.
I can't remember. He gets to the he gets to that planet.
I feel because I know that the frog lady was like reuniting with her husband again.
But what was the very opening scene? I know he gets to that planet.
Yeah, he does. He
Why
gets
can't I remember?
he gets to the planet, and I know that happens on that planet,
Was it
but
when he crashes? Is that the
that might have been. But
okay? Which
um,
I loved. He crashes, and then the Mon Calamari nods like this. But he says, I want you to fix my ship, and he gives them all this money, and there's only so much they can do. But he's on this planet. It's um high seas. It's the first time we've really seen a big thing of water in Star Wars, other than Camino. But Camino, we didn't actually go down to the water. And, here we get to see actual pirates in Star Wars, which was cool. So he goes onto this planet, and she gets reunited with her husband. And for some reason, they're not upset. They don't even notice there's missing eggs. um, so, but to them, it's probably just we just want our family to continue. I mean, it doesn't really, but still,
oh
it's
yeah,
pretty much so. But so she gets reunited, and then Amanda's like, I want to find people of my kind, and they send her to this bar, and they serve these squids, and they're still alive when you eat them, and it
yeah.
jumps onto Baby Yoda's face. That was hilarious. Um, but my favorite part is the
Um,
end. My favorite part's in the end when he eats it.
the way he looks is just like, hey, I'm not eating this soup anymore.
I loved at the end when he eats the squid when it's
Oh
they're on
yeah.
the ship. But I love so he's here, and then they're like, where can I find? Oh, this guy knows some Mandalorians, and so he goes on a ship, and the guy ends up double crossing him, and
Yeah.
they throw Baby Yoda goes into this little thing of water where there's I feel like
Like
sharks. Aren't there creatures in there or something?
there, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a kraken or something like that that
yeah.
like swallows him up.
Something that eats Baby Yoda. He's in his little cradle. It eats him. Luckily, he's in the cradle.
Yeah.
And they push Mando down there, and he can't get out. And luckily, he gets saved by none other than Bo-Katan from
Yeah.
Rebels and Clone Wars. Katie Sackhoff, and it's the same actress who played her. Which
Mattress,
this
which
this
which I heard a really good thing for a fan who's like from and a friend of mine who's a major hardcore fan of like Clone Wars and stuff like that. He feels like Ahsoka, they should have did the same treatment and casted the voice actress.
yeah, they honestly they probably should have.
But
Um, but I think they just wanted to go with. Yeah, it really doesn't make sense why they did it with Bo-Katan, but not Ahsoka.
yeah, because even the actress who plays Bo-Katan was like kind of questioning it or something like that in an interview or something.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, really doesn't make sense. Hopefully, she gets to play the character again, like in a video game or something.
Hopefully, yeah.
Um, I think if we see her in animation, they'll definitely keep her for animation.
Oh yeah.
Um, um, but yes, so Bo-Katan and these other Mandalorians rescue him,
Which
and then
I didn't know it was Bo-Katan when she first showed up because I didn't recognize her at
oh, I
first.
know it was Bo-Katan.
Like I saw the face paint. I was like, "Ooh, that's wait, is that?" And then I had an idea, and then luckily I watched it with subtitles. So then right when she spoke, it said Bo-Katan. I was like, "Yo!" So that's when I
Yeah. So
uh,
she saves him, and he's like, "You need to save the child. Go in." And she dives right in, and she saves him. And she takes off her helmet. And the moment she takes off her helmet, he's like, "What the hell is going on? Why are you doing this?" And they're like, "What's wrong with it?" And he's like, "You're not my kind." And he flies away. And I'm like, I was just like, oh my god. Oh,
Yeah.
and luckily they show up again and they explain who they are and everything, and now he's part of like a cult. He didn't know that, um, which
Yep.
explains why they didn't keep their helmets on. I'm thinking that eventually, at one point in the series, he's gonna give that tradition up and be like, "I was part of a cult." Like,
I know a friend of mine who is going to be so mad if they go in that direction. Like
why?
because apparently he loves the idea of this guy just keeping his helmet on. He doesn't want
Why? Like,
he doesn't want him to take it because it's like he just loves. He feels it's kind of like I guess this makes him way cooler.
not.
It makes him it's like the whole idea of just like the voice of him, and if they have that situation happen again where it's like with the whole rumor happening with Pedro Pascal walking off set and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
It,
I don't believe that stuff.
I mean, if it's true, for argument's sake, if it's true, um, then it would make casting a lot easier because all you have to do is literally just find
They could just get Diogo Luna.
or whatever. Yeah, just find a voice alike or something.
Did you know that they played the same character in Narcos? Diogo Luna and Pedro Pascal.
I never caught up on Narcos,
Yeah,
but
but it's funny because they look like they were both in If Beale Street Could Talk.
they were both in it.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was the same person.
Interesting, cool. Yeah, that's that's cool. I didn't realize Pedro Pascal was in Beale Street. I knew that Dio Luna was.
They were both in it. Because when I was
Yeah,
watching, wait, is that Pedro Pascal too? Like the two best Mexican actors working,
yeah,
both both together. Um,
awesome.
but but yeah. So he talks to them, and they're like, can you help us on this? Where can I find the Jedi? And he's like, Will, can you help us on this mission? Um, and small reference to Empire Strikes Back when she alters the deal. She's like, that wasn't the deal you promised me. Um, so he says we have to steal these guns, and then she changed her mind and said, no, we're stealing the whole ship. Um, and so they're stealing the ship, and the guy who's in charge of the ship is the guy from Bosch.
Yeah,
What's his name? Titus Welliver,
Titus.
which
Yeah, I
is
can I can never pronounce his name, but
which
yeah,
is
Titus.
funny because they could have him be a recurring character and keep the name Bosch. Like that sounds like it could be a Star Wars name,
Yeah, that does honestly.
like Bosk and
Yeah.
Bosch. Um, but yeah, so they're stealing the ship, and he's like, so he calls up Moff Gideon, General Esposito, and he's um, like he tells them to like crash the plane because they don't want them getting to Moff Gideon. So that's how evil the Empire is. They tell their own people to commit suicide for the greater good.
Yeah.
And so he tells them to crash it, and then they get up. And I just think it's funny in the show how easy it is for them to take out stormtroopers. I just think that's so funny. Um,
And
they take out stormtroopers,
Stormtroopers is just like the worst shot ever.
and they're like,
Also, it is way easier to take out battle droids than it is stormtroopers.
yeah, yeah. I think in the Phantom Menace, like special features, George Lucas said they did that on purpose. I I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't know why, but
Interesting.
so yeah, so they're crashing the ship, and they get up to the front, and they fight him, and they're like, she's like, tell me where Moff Gideon is. Where's the dark saber? And then he says, she says, I'll let you live if you tell me. And he's like, you will, but he won't. And this is just proves Moff Gideon again as an evil. I mean, he's gonna be he's a really intimidating villain.
Oh yeah.
They have some sort of chip inside the Imperial officer inside his head where he electrocutes Moff Gideon electrocutes him. I
Yeah.
mean, dude, so I'm assuming it's similar to how the clones
Well,
had a chip in their head.
it's better than getting your head blown up like in The Boys.
Is it? No, I feel like head blown up is less painful because it's quicker.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're comparing trash to trash. but so yeah, he gets electrocuted and Bash dies. But he was a good villain, good one episode villain. Um, it was nice to see that actor. I was like, I know that actor.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of the actors are using for. I've noticed this. A lot of like the actors that like
for
people
one-time
are
characters.
like one-time characters. Like Timothy Oliphant is probably one of the biggest names they're casting on this show of new characters, and he's only in like that one episode.
Yeah. Um, I remember Bill Burr saying in an interview that he he either said he's back for season 2 or he said he might be back. But I don't know. I think we'll see I think we'll see him again at one point.
I think so.
And I think so. But yeah. So, he dies, and they're about to crash, and they do one of my favorite things in movies, my favorite cliches, where they're flying a plane and it's about to crash, and they pull up at the last second. Um,
Yes.
they pull up at the last second, and they end up stealing the ship, and they're like to Mandalorian, "You sure you don't want to join us?" And he's like, "No." And then he's like, "If offer still on the table, just so you know." And so he takes but before I go, I need to know, where can I find the Jedi? And then she's like, you can find Ahsoka Tano Jedi at this planet. And what's interesting is that the planet Ahsoka is on is not a planet in any canon or non-canon, which I love. I was reading an article about this, and I agree with it 100%. This is so amazing because no one can predict what's going to happen
Yeah.
because no one knows that planet. No one, not in Legends, EU, any of that. It's an unknown planet. The name of the planet is a name of a ship in Battlefront 2 or something. But other than that, we have no idea, which I love. The mystery, the sense of mystery. They're going outside of the small, the show's been good, but it's stuck to Tatooine and
Yeah.
stuff. And
I love how like not only the mystery of this season, but I love how this like they've kept so much under wraps.
yeah, there haven't even been trailers for the
To-
episodes.
And to the point that like I didn't know until you texted me that Carl Weathers was directing an
Oh
episode.
yeah.
And
We
like
don't find out the directors until the episode airs.
yeah, which is like really cool. Like they're really not
Yeah.
telling, like anything.
Well, I knew that Ahsoka was going to be episode 5 2 weeks ago because I saw an article saying that the Writers Guild of America, someone had saw that Dave Filoni had a writing credit for episode 5.
Yeah.
And it's the only episode he's writing this season, so it's Ahsoka's his character. So I mean, if he's writing the episode, it's highly likely she's in the episode.
Yeah.
Because it's a very
I would hope.
it's very important that you nail this, because bringing her into live action, because
Yeah.
it's not an easy
And
thing bringing animation into live action.
I would hope and trust that John Favreau would give that character to Dave Filoni to write
Yeah.
because
Um,
he's the one that created her.
and
So
I would say for sure if she gets her own show that he'll write the whole thing. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's his character. But yeah, so they named. I didn't expect them to full on name drop her. It's it's official. Ahsoka's gonna be in the show.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Everyone who
so
everyone who thought, oh, it's just a rumor,
it,
it's like,
but
well,
here's the thing: it wasn't a rumor. It was from big sites.
it wasn't.
Uh,
No, I mean,
um, and yeah, I bet you they were pissed when that leaked because they were like,
yeah.
"This would have been a surprise." I mean, it still is a surprise. We don't know how she's gonna be in it or what she's gonna look like.
Oh yeah,
Um,
but I mean,
but
yeah, that's one cool thing too is there's been like no still photos released of anything.
yeah,
or any of that. That's how I knew. I did not know Bo-Katan was even in this season because
Oh,
you know,
you didn't?
no, because I didn't really listen to anything about that. I didn't hear that Bo-Katan was actually going to be in this season. So whenever
Yeah,
I saw,
that was, I think, in April or May. There was a like Katie Sackhoff, and people like it was crazy because like you don't see a lot of the time an animated character being played by the same actor in live
yeah,
action.
that's
Um, she
pretty.
wait. So I'll send you a video later, but way back when that news dropped, like the next week or whatever, because she used to be on Schmoes No. Um, back
Uh,
in the old days. She was on Battlestar Galactica. She was like a regular guest because she's friends with Christian. They're really good friends, and he had her on, and he was like catching up with her. He interviewed her, and he was like, hypothetically, if you were, you don't have to answer, if you were in a live action Star Wars show, playing the same character you played in the animated shows, hypothetically, if you were, would you want to do that? Would you enjoy the possibility of doing that? And she was like, hypothetically, if I were playing the same character, which I am not confirming or denying, I would enjoy that. and
yeah.
and then she told him that he knows more about Star Wars than her, which is kind of funny. I mean, yeah,
Well,
she's
I mean, uh that is kind of true. Christian Harloff is
yeah.
a freaking tank when it comes to Star Wars knowledge, although none of them top uh Sam Witwer. He's like
Oh yeah, dude, that dude is. I'm
that,
playing the game.
that dude's
I
a
didn't realize. Do you know
beast.
he has his own video game? The
Oh,
Star Wars one, obviously, but also
yeah.
that zombie game, Days Gone.
Oh, yeah. Days Gone, dude. I did remember that one. Yeah, I played some of
Have
that.
Have you played that?
I've played the beginning. I still need to play more of it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's the storytelling isn't as good as like The Last of Us. It's not anywhere near, but it's
I mean, but
The Last of Us is amazing. The Days Gone is good. Um, the gameplay is different. It's more open world, like GTA.
yeah.
You can ride around, but dude, it's when you're getting chased by a horde, it's so stressful.
Um,
Um,
I need to.
it's
I
because
need to.
you have to run, and they have like gas tanks set up so you can shoot them and blow them up, but you have to be so quick and so precise. I'm pretty sure it's on sale right now for Black Friday on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, I have the like deluxe edition, the digital deluxe edition or something
Oh,
like.
you own it?
Yeah, I that's how I got to play some of the first part of it. Like
Oh, okay.
I played the
Yeah,
first half, but
it's not a great game. The one of my problems is the facial movements with the characters are really bad. Like their like faces don't really. It's I don't get it.
that's why I'm hoping that they that like what they did in like The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, like I hope they really take that now with more video games
Well,
because
dude,
like
why do they have blank faces? Why do they do that?
yeah, because The Last of Us Part 2 to me has the best graphics I've ever seen in a video game, and the reason why is because part of the reason why is they used a combination of video game graphics but also mocap, making sure
Oh
that
wait, they do? They use mocap?
yeah, they make sure like they had a thing where they were using the people they were in the
Huh.
little Ashley Johnson was in like the little bubble suit things that they wear, and they had her moving her mouth, and Ellie would move her mouth at the same time, and they were practicing that, and she would like lift the eyebrows and stuff, and then they would do that, and I mean, and it's kind of interesting because like Troy Baker looks nothing like Joel, but
Yeah, yeah,
but
I
they
was about to say that.
but they still did but they like used the facial movements and their actual like voices and the way that their mouths moved and their bodies moved and everything that they did correlated to the people on screen because they still
Yeah.
use mocap. Yeah,
So,
cool.
how much better is the second one than the first one, storytelling wise? Because the first one is really good.
The first one's still better because
Okay.
the first one's like an 11 out of 10 for me. It's like my all-time favorite game. I love it. the
Yeah.
the Last of Us Part 2, I mean, this isn't like saying anything bad about it, but like while the first game is like an 11 out of 10, I'd give like The Last of Us Part 2 like a 9 out of 10. You know,
That's still a great score.
or like yeah, or like maybe even like a 9.5. Like I still, I really.
So it's pretty much on par.
So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's almost on par. There's just a couple things here and there that I do kind of that I can kind of see. Like it never took me out of it, but I was just sort of like
I
maybe
can't wait until I play it so I can find out
it,
what this course was all about.
some of it is stupid. I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but there's a certain risk they take that
I know what it is. Unfortunately, I was
uh,
spoiled the big death.
well, apparently there was a record number, or so I read. Some articles were fake. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently there was a major number of people who literally turned off the game after Joel died. And I'm like, okay, like I played the first game and I love Joel. He was like my favorite. He's probably my favorite character in the series. I love him. But even after the first game happened, I was like, oh yeah, he's a goner. He's a goner. Like it's just that's his arc.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
feel like
so
he was
so
meant to die down the line, you know?
so I'll pretend for 1 second that I don't know he dies in the second one. I'm about a little more than halfway through the first game. We're with the father and the son, um, and I'm right at the point where after they escape the building with the zombies, and you're like in that like neighborhood, like that residential neighborhood. After you're in the building, like where you get all the water, where you fall in the elevator. I'm about a little more than halfway done. So having the halfway done, the fact that he dies in the second one, it's not that surprising that they would make it her story. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that surprising. Father daughter thing. I mean, that
Yeah.
makes
I
sense
mean,
to
I know
me.
I know some people said that like, well, you don't do that type of stuff until like the third or fourth entry. And I'm like, well, what if they don't even make third or fourth entries? What if they only planned on making two? You know, it's like,
What you have to understand is video games are very different from movies and shows
yeah.
in their storytelling.
I mean,
I'm not going to judge it until I've played it, but I highly doubt I will
I
dislike
mean,
the second
I
one.
mean, yeah, you're not gonna. It was stupid too, because like, you know, I heard one person say like, how could they, like, they were like being all like, upset, being like, well, I'm just mad because they killed him off. I'm like, so you're just mad because they killed him off when, I mean, and they were like, and they could have, given him a more, better way to die because he gets effed up without spoiling it. He gets effed up
Oh man.
in part two. Like it's
Is
freaking
it like is
hard.
it like as brutal as like Walking Dead deaths?
Oh, oh yeah. It's kind of hard to watch. Like I'm just like, oh no. Like it was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
But like people were like, they could have given him like a better, smoother death. I'm like, dude, this is the world of The Last of Us. Like you're not gonna get a peaceful death. It's
Yeah.
like it's a
And I feel like I like that they do that because that's realistic to the real world.
yeah. It's not, black and white. It's like, it's gray. It's, just not, it's super dark like the real world is, and very,
Yeah.
very realistic. And that's just what I love about the storytelling, is how just real the characters feel and how real the situations feel, and the
Yeah.
world.
We should do a big spoiler review for The Last of Us when I finish it.
Yes, we should. I would so be down for that. I actually have like the collector's edition of The Last of Us Part 2.
Well, is that the same as the deluxe edition?
No, the deluxe edition was like, it was only like $70 or $80, and that was like, it came with like the soundtrack. It still came with like a art, with like an art book or something like that. But like but the collector's edition came with all that, but it also came with like, some stickers, decals. It came with the bracelet she wears in the game, and
Like
also
like bracelet, you can put it on her in the game? Or
The
it's like a physical...
It's like an actual physical bracelet that it comes with, like in the box. And then it also
Was it a pre-order exclusive?
yeah, and I like I pre-ordered it because I was gonna get the Ellie edition. The Ellie edition came with her backpack. And it came
Like
with
a physical backpack?
yeah, like a physical backpack, an Ellie
How
backpack.
was that?
And it came with a record player that had a record that had a couple of songs on it from the soundtrack.
Wait, with an actual record player?
Not the actual record player, but the actual record.
But how much did it cost?
That the Ellie edition was like $220.
Okay.
I was going to get that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to get that edition, but then I ended up getting that sold out like within just like an hour. So
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I got the collector's edition, which had a statue.
Is the deluxe edition worth it?
The deluxe edition is still worth it. It's like a soundtrack.
Dude, I'm looking at the thumbnail on the PS Store. Those graphics are, I mean, that is insane. That is really insane.
This bad boy right here is my collector's edition.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Of The Last of Us Part 2. It was massive, and it came with a lot of stuff, but the best thing it came with of all was... Wait,
how much did you pay for this?
This one was about 170, I think.
I should have pre-ordered. I didn't.
But this was the big daddy that it came with. Right here was this thing.
What is that?
This is a statue of Ellie playing guitar.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right there, and like...
Oh, nice Dark Knight poster.
Thank you. But yeah, it like has so much detail, and the bottom here says like The Last of Us on it. Yeah, it's like this is like The Last of Us Part 2, and then that's
so cool.
The statue it came with.
I'll tell you, Batman, I thoroughly enjoyed The Last of Us Part 2. It was really, really good. Aha, ahi, anarchy.
That's pretty much how all the people I know who I always tell I love The Last of Us Part 2, they're always like laughing. They're always laughing in my face like that.
So it's basically like saying you like The Last Jedi.
Pretty much, because it's like The Last Jedi, except actually planned out rather than and it also came with this cool little art book here.
Oh, cool.
Which is neat. That came with like some art from the game. And
does that come with the collector's or the deluxe edition too?
It has a digital version for the.
Oh, okay.
For the
Man, this seems like because a lot of the time I see pre-orders aren't worth it and ripoffs, but this seems like a really worth it.
Yeah, it was really I felt like it was really worth it. They provided like a lot of stuff in there to make it worth the full price. Here's the rest. I was wondering. I was like, there is some stuff missing, but yeah, it came with these stickers.
Oh, cool.
It came with these pens here.
That's so. Are you gonna open that?
I probably am at some point, but I don't even really know where I put pins at. So like,
I wear pins on my shirt.
I might do that, or I might like connect them to something as like a collector's thing. But
Or
I
you could. Some people put them on their car, like inside their car. The cars that have like the soft ceiling and stuff.
oh yeah, that's a good point. And this is the bracelet that she wears in the game,
Oh, it's so cool.
which is really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Mandalorian. I don't want to like bore viewers like if they don't. To
Oh
to
no.
me, this is all cool.
All the viewers who are like played The Last of Us right now, they're all like, being like, oh, they're talking good about The Last of Us Part Two. This is,
Oh god.
they're like
Um,
this is
it's crazy to me how so many people can love something and then also so many people can hate it.
I know it's just like the same. And then if you love that thing that they hate, then they will like attack you for it, which
And they'll
is
call you a dumb fuck or something.
yeah, which is just
Like someone called me, someone said that I was retarded because I liked The Last Jedi.
I I I remember. Oh my gosh, I remember there was this guy who was like walking by the Knives Out poster, and it had like Ryan, because it had like Ryan Johnson's name on it, and he was at the theater or something like that, and he was like, I should pee on it or something like that because he was so like
uh,
mad at the
uh,
he was so mad at Ryan Johnson or whatever, and
Knives
so.
Out is seriously like in my top 50 movies of all time.
And luckily he didn't pee on it because that would have been disturbing to see. But
I think I'm
I,
gonna
I
make it.
I was telling him told him I'm like, dude, it's not that bad, and had a whole argument about it, and then later on he just got so mad. I died laughing, like I laughed so hard because he was like saying like, oh yeah, well you're just a bitch asswipe, and then he just like just walked off. But like that insult made me laugh so hard.
One when I was at work the movie theater, I was in the bathroom. I was in the stall, and these older guys were talking about Thor Ragnarok, and I said, "Oh, I really liked it too." And then he was like, "What the hell, dude? This is a private conversation." And I was like, "Okay, that's never happened to me." That was the one time like,
Okay.
oh, alrighty then. Um, I doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah. So like, so Mandalorian, Bo-Katan. Um, so yeah, so we're gonna see, we're going to see Ahsoka. Um, they decided to have a whole episode in between, which makes us even more excited. But I'm fine with it because I would have been upset if it was only filler, but it did move
Yeah,
the story forward. It did.
they did
So
because
yeah, episode
they
3.
did reference Ahsoka and stuff, which was
So what's our general consensus? Episode 3 was pretty great.
yeah. Episode 3 was pretty great. It might be my I don't know. I was gonna say it might be my second favorite of the season, but I don't know because like I really liked. I think
Probably for me.
but I have to think about. But it might be my second favorite of the season because episode 2 is my favorite
Yeah.
so far. Um, and then I would maybe say between episode 3 and episode 1 are like my second favorite somewhere maybe.
For me, it probably goes.
Um,
It either goes 2, 3, 4, or 2, 4, 3.
oh
I'm
yeah,
not sure. 4 was surprisingly good. I didn't think it would be this good.
yeah. Carl Weathers did a great job for a directorial debut. Um,
And yeah, I think Gina Carano did a great job acting.
she
She's
she
frustrating.
she gave those creatures an alt right uppercut.
Oh
It was
God. Yeah, she it's
amazing.
I actually think she's a good actress for a MMA fighter or whatever.
He is, yeah, and it's interesting because they actually had um two people like that in this season because um the person who was with Bo-Katan, the kind of like the
Oh yeah, Sasha
really
Banks.
pretty black lady, she was Sasha Banks in WWE,
You know,
and
I think it's I
she
think
was
it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that people are theorizing, oh, she's gonna be Sabine, or she's gonna be a Night Sister, or maybe she's a Jedi, another Jedi, and then she literally turned out to be none of those things. She's just a Mandalorian.
yeah,
But honestly, that could work as a show, like them, the three of them.
yeah,
Um,
I'd see it. Female empowerment.
yeah, and um, yeah, that would be so cool. Sasha, I want to see her character come back, Sasha Banks.
Yeah, and I mean she did a decent job for the part that she had, you know. She for that small part. I've noticed that like with the right directors, these like WWE people or these MMA fighter people are actually showing themselves to kind of have some acting chops. Um
Yeah,
like Batista, you
but
know.
Batista's probably the best example.
Yeah.
Him and John, but the best wrestler actor ever is The Rock.
Oh yeah.
To me, it's not even a question. But here's the thing, um, like Gina Carano, she just like if she didn't say those things, she could become a star. Like she could. Uh,
I mean, Hollywood might forget, you know, later on she still could become a star because I mean, Mel Gibson became a major star even
he's
after he
he the okay. Mel Gibson as a person is much worse than her.
yeah, but I mean, true.
Yeah, Mel
But
Gibson is definitely worse.
but I mean,
Um,
but man, is he a phenomenal actor. But
yeah, he's a great director.
yeah, a great director. Yeah.
What's interesting is Andrew Garfield said he never felt unsafe being Jewish on a movie. Which I mean, well, I mean, I just because you don't insult a Jewish person, it doesn't mean you're not anti-Semitic. You know,
No.
it's like just like the I have a black friend. You know, it's like, um,
Yeah.
I think Mel Gibson just like I try not to think about him. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
he is one of those that I'm able to separate the art from the artist.
it's easier when it's just directing. Like,
Yeah.
what's the war movie he did? I really love that one. Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah.
Yeah. That one.
Um,
Uh,
but yeah. So episode 4 was surprisingly great. So yeah, this is where like we really get to see the kind of stuff we're going to see in the series.
yeah,
Like these Death Troopers or Dark Troopers. I mean, this is really interesting. And the possibility we might have saw Snoke. I mean, this is crazy, but
that was cool.
so so we see that this was really well directed. The way that the reveal to the characters that Moff is still alive, the way they directed that, where he's
Yeah,
like, "No, this is an old recording. He's dead," and they're like, "No, it's 3 days old," and they're like, "Wait, if Moff Gideon is still alive," and then they rush back to Baby Yoda, and it's like, it's so well directed. All the action is so intense.
it
Um,
is. It's just
I
true.
was legitimately scared for Baby Yoda. I was like, are they gonna capture him again? Oh man.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I think they are gonna do something that will like make fans kind of like, oh my god, like you know how like they ended an episode with like which
With Quill.
which was so sad with Quill, like they ended the episode
Oh
with
god.
like his death, and it was just like, and it was so funny because like on my birthday we came home that night and the whole group of us watched that episode and my friend Jared's just sitting there, he's just like he's like, yep, I hate
Oh, did
you.
you notice in this episode that in that town there's a statue of IG-11 or IG-88?
He, yes, I
Yeah, the
saw that on
statue of him.
the which is really cool.
Um, they should. Yeah, I think the perfect character for Moff Gideon to kill, to get our heartstrings going, I think would actually be if they introduce Rex. I think Rex would actually be the perfect character.
The perfect character for what?
To be killed by Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Because that would motivate Ahsoka.
Yeah.
To really want to kill him. That would be real. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that could work, and I definitely think that I don't know who's going to play him.
Who, Rex?
And it could be a small part, but I think if Ahsoka shows up this next episode, which is very likely, then I think that you could see him pop up. I mean, that just makes sense.
Well, I think if Rex is in it, it's going to be the same actor who's playing Boba.
Well, yeah, but remember, he's not the right age though.
What do you mean?
Because Rex, this takes place 6 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so Rex is old. That guy could play an old Rex.
I mean, they would have to really. I mean, makeup nowadays you can do anything with makeup. So
they could do it.
I mean, with makeup,
they could just give him some gray hair and I'd buy it. Yeah. Or they could cast another completely different actor. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that actor is 1960, so he's December 1960. So that would make him 60, right? Yeah. That would make him 60. Rex is probably like equivalent to like 70s or something.
Probably.
I could be fine. But yeah,
good 60 if that's the case.
But they need to introduce Star Wars casual fans to the character first, and they need to get to know him.
Yeah.
First, but I think that would be a good way if you introduce him for him to die. I think that character, if we're reintroduced him, I think the perfect way for him to die is like in a battle or like a sacrifice, because he's a soldier. He was created to be a soldier.
Or maybe just like or if they wanted to make fans be like pissed off at Moff Gideon, maybe they find a way to where like Moff captures him, Rex tries to get information out of him, he won't answer, and he tortures him, and then Moff ends up like killing him or something like that. And
what would be really good is kind of like in The Walking Dead. There's an episode, not going to spoil, where like the character is being held hostage, and then they kill, like they're across a gate from the main characters, and they kill him right in front of them. Like you think that kind of death.
Yeah.
That would be, oh man, just thinking about that. Giancarlo Esposito, he's such a good actor. See that? The craziest thing about this episode at the end when he smiles.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was made me kind of uneasy. I was like kind of creeped out by that. I'm like, he is. He's got some plans up his sleeve, and I do not like it.
But yeah, so I think that they're doing some experiments on something, whether it's so Zuna experiments on something, but then we hear in the message that he's like M count. So this is basically confirming that he was trying to take midichlorians out of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
He either wants force powers for himself or for those soldiers he's creating.
Which I just realized, if they're using those midichlorian, the M counts, to make Snoke, then does that confirm that Baby Yoda has to die?
No. How would that confirm Baby Yoda has to die?
Because like because they would be using his DNA, right?
What do you use his DNA?
Because they said they needed his M count, right?
They already have his DNA.
Oh, okay. I thought they needed more of it. That's what I.
Well, yeah, they need more of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Baby Yoda has to die in order. I mean,
because I remember though in that episode when like in season one, you know, I thought they referenced that like it would have killed him if they kept on, you know,
oh,
doing it.
I mean, who, who, who knows if they're gonna actually explain Snoke in the show?
Yeah. Um,
Um, I, I don't know. I don't know if they'll kill Baby Yoda. I don't know.
I mean, I think they're smart enough. If Game of Thrones didn't kill off Peter Dinklage, then I think that they are. Then I think that uh, this show is smart enough not to do that because Game of Thrones knew if they killed off Peter Dinklage, they would have lost a lot of fans. But
Yeah,
um,
he's kind of the audience character in that show.
yeah,
Like he goes through all this crazy. I mean, he's involved with the Lannisters, and then he's involved with Daenerys. I mean, he goes all over. Um,
yeah,
and
really.
so yeah, but
Comic relief
yeah, I really loved this episode. The directing was great.
was.
I loved when the stormtrooper falls down in lava, and then the other stormtroopers are watching.
And one of them did a Wilhelm scream, and I was like, yes.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they did when they were falling down. I think it was like one of the ones that fell when he was like when he reached the top and was fighting them.
Oh, wow.
I think one of those guys fell off and did the yeah whatever. And I was like, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I really relate to Baby Yoda because if I had force powers, I would use it to steal food too.
Oh yes, that was so cute. And they used one of the droids of
C-3PO.
yeah, those D3PO droids. I'm uh blanking on what they're actually called, but yeah, that is I thought that was really cool because they that's what those droids are. They're just a bunch of useless knowledge, bundled into one droid, and so it makes sense that they would have them as teachers. And
Uh, yeah, I'm. Oh man, next episode, I'm gonna watch it right when I get up. Right
yeah,
when I get up on Friday. I mean, I'm just gonna.
I'm not a madman like Alessio
Well, no, I'm not gonna stay up.
who
I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm not crazy.
yeah, who's like stays up to like 3 a.m. and
Yeah.
watch,
That's
watch,
just. Oh
watch
Jesus.
and if I'm gonna
Um,
if I'm gonna do something like that, I'm at least gonna take a nap early. Right?
I can't mess up my sleep schedule because I always wake up in the
Yeah.
morning. I mean, I can't really do that.
I mean, I can't do it either. But like, I remember when like the Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part Two came out. I remember the midnight showing got sold out, so I didn't get to see the midnight showing, but I got to see a 3 a.m. showing.
Do you
And
know that the Harry Potter movies have been playing in theaters near me like several times this year?
yeah, same. They played near me a bunch of times this year, and I didn't get to see any of them, unfortunately,
Wow.
on the big.
Um,
But
I need to see. Um, I need to see Freaky so bad.
dude, yes, you do. That's the most fun I've had in the cinema this year, and I know that's not saying a lot because of the year.
There's been some good movies, just not necessarily in theaters.
Yeah, not, but like I was worried because like when we first came in, the movie was like about to start, and then there was like only like maybe two other people in there, and they got kind of packed, but for a 40% capacity type of
Yeah.
thing. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And but they made it all really fun, and that was just a blast. And I hope that it does come to uh, you know, premium VOD soon, but um it felt so good going back to the theater, and it's good to have like for a theater to have a new movie that is like exclusive to theaters right now for people to go see because
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like I have a feeling they'll do that with the new because I don't think it's going to make that much money anyways. I think they're also going to do that with like Monster Hunter coming out, which is that like video game.
What about the Croods? Do you think that's gonna be good?
Um, I wasn't even a fan of the first one.
My friend loves the first one. He's a big Nicolas Cage fan.
I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan, and his new movie Jiu-Jitsu came out today. Oh,
Oh,
I need to watch that. That
is
is
it?
like the masterpiece of 2020 right there.
Wait, is it supposed to be good?
Dude, it's it's wild. It's called Jiu-Jitsu, and it's not even Jiu-Jitsu that they're doing.
Wait, I think I've heard of that. Wait,
It's like this. It's like this. It's this trailer where Nicolas
wait,
Cage.
how do you spell that?
It's like GIU and then GITSU. I think is how it is.
Huh? That's I don't see. That's Nicolas Cage's. He is
But like yeah, he's just like they're pretty much what it is there's like this like robot or something that gets created who's like this machine or whatever, and like knows jujitsu, and so like Nicolas Cage must rally another group of people to take it down, which is it's so, oh my lord.
oh god. It has a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's
But
so,
no, but that's not reliable because there's only 22 reviews.
oh dude,
That's why people
watch
when you're
watch
looking at Rotten Tomatoes score, you have to look at the amount of reviews.
yeah. Oh yeah, like I mean, people will be like, "Oh, 100% movie. It's got 9 reviews." Like
Yeah,
when Freaky first came out, or the Rotten Tomato score, I remember people
it's like a 90 something.
sent me it, and they were like saying like, "Look at this. This has like a 100%, and it's got like on Rotten Tomatoes." And I'm like, "Yeah, from like 9 reviews."
Yeah,
I'm
people
like,
don't know. People think 100% is saying the movie is perfect. No, that could be saying all of the critics think it's really good, but not
yeah.
great.
I mean, even then, that 100%, if it's only from a small amount of critics, that could be like most of them are giving it like 3 out of 5, you know, something
Yeah,
like that. It could
and
be like,
you really have to look at individual reviews because sometimes critics label the review positive, but to me it looks negative.
yeah, and it's so weird. It's like they'll sometimes give it positive, they'll sometimes give it negative, even though they'll give it like positive scores. And then it's like, like a 3 out of 5, I consider still a positive score. Um,
Yeah,
but like sometimes a rotten tomato will be a 3 out of 5, and I'm like, and then a fresh tomato would be like a 2.5 out of 5, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't get.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. So let's finish this. I really loved episode 4. I thought it was fantastic. Carol Weathers, I want to see him direct again. You know what would be cool? What if he gets to direct other Disney Plus shows? Like what if he gets to direct an episode of a Marvel show or something?
Or gets to direct like a Boba Fett series, or like a Boba Fett episode,
Oh yeah,
something like that.
that's so interesting that show is supposedly happening.
It's supposedly filming as like
I know that report
right,
said it
right
could
now.
start shooting as soon as next week.
Yeah,
So
and that was like when the first episode aired, so it's like,
yeah,
you know,
so like I am upset that we're not going to get a Star Wars movie for a few years, but it's okay because we're still getting new Star Wars like
yeah,
stuff.
and I
We're
mean, yeah, and it's like they don't really, they have to figure out like what other kind of Star, because now that the episodic movies are done, you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do next as far as movies go.
I think what they should start doing to have an extra movie is I think they should have series finales for these shows when they eventually end be a movie or release it in theaters.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be really cool. I honestly think that like if they released the first episode of this new Mandalorian season, in like IMAX theaters, man, that I think that would be a hit.
yeah, probably when it's actually safe to go to theaters.
Yeah.
Um, it's just I saw Indiana Jones and the theater I was at. A lot of people like who
Oh,
weren't even eating popcorn took their masks off, and like I asked an employee, but they like asked them to. But it's just
I mean, it's still they're socially distanced, and it's still like, and I know some people who like they'll eat their popcorn to make it last through like pretty much of the movie as I can. Like I know the rule for me is I don't start because every time I eat the popcorn during the movie, if I eat it too early, I'll have like a little bit left over when the movie starts. So I always don't eat it
Yeah.
until the movie starts.
Well, unfortunately, I can't go to my local AMC for the time being because that mall is shut down right now because there was a shooting.
Oh no! At
I
the
messaged you about that. That was in
oh,
nationwide news.
that was in Wisconsin. Yeah, dang,
That's in, dude. That's shootings happen there all the time, but this one is in nationwide news.
man. That was,
Dude. It's scary. Um I I've been to that movie theater very recently. I saw Memories of Murder there. I saw Happy Death Day there with my mom.
was the shooting actually in the theater or?
No. It was just at the mall.
Uh,
Um, but it was by Macy's, and Macy's is on the same side as AMC, just a
yeah.
few down. Yeah, it's scary, but the theater website still has showtimes for this weekend, so I don't know if
Hmm.
they're. Yeah, I don't think the theater can be. I don't think it's allowed to be open. Um, I just wonder how long it's gonna happen because I wanted to go to the theater soon because they're playing. What are they playing? They're playing Elf. Oh, what? Dude, they're playing Knives Out there now.
Hey, nice.
I'm going to make it a tradition to watch that movie every Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that'd
Um,
be nice.
they're
I,
also playing
I always
Christmas
have
Story.
I always have my traditions um around Christmas time. Like I always will watch Christmas Vacation and It's a Wonderful Life. I always watch those around Christmas time. Um, but I'm adding like newer Christmas movies this year, and then I sometimes will. Last year I wrapped gifts to a double feature of How the Grinch
Hmm.
Stole Christmas and then Die Hard.
This is very strange. They still have showtimes available for Tuesday. Oh, they're playing Tenet again in IMAX.
Interesting.
That's weird. I won a giveaway for 2 tickets for Tenet.
You want to give away?
Yeah, I
Nice.
need to use them soon because I don't know how long it's going to be in theaters for.
Yeah. I mean, and how many times have you seen it now?
Once.
Yeah, you saw it at a drive-in theater, right? The first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you seeing it probably in an IMAX theater would be the best way to see
Yeah,
it.
the best way. Um, the theater I work, it's funny. When they started playing it, they put subtitles because people complained they couldn't understand what they were saying.
Oh man. I Hey, what do you think though should win best sound at the Oscars? That or Sound of Metal?
Sound of Metal, no question.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
we should review Sound of Metal.
we should because
That is
uh,
really great. Yeah. So, they're playing Gremlins at my theater,
yeah,
and White Christmas, and Scrooge, and the Polar Express, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
yes, the best.
Scrooge is I need to see that.
I own the Blu-ray. Yeah, Scrooge is with Bill Murray is so
Yeah.
funny.
Dude,
And
we should review On the Rocks. I finally watched it.
finally watched it. What did you think?
Oh man, it was great.
It
Um,
was
it almost feels like this role was written specifically for Bill Murray.
yeah, I feel like that too. Like he chewed up the scenery. And I know one person I talked to who said like, well, he just sort of seemed like he was playing Bill Murray, but I'm like, it was kind
Well,
of more nuanced than that. I felt.
no, I don't think so. I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah. Um,
So yeah, wait, let's close out this Mandalorian. Yeah, I've enjoyed this season so far. We're gonna try to do weekly reviews now,
yeah.
and Michael, if you want to join me every week, be glad
Yeah,
to. But
that'd be fun.
Ahsoka there's gonna be a lot to talk about there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah. When
we
Ahsoka is,
literally have no idea where she's been. We
yeah, literally not. No, I mean,
literally Rebels ended and she's like Gandalf or whatever, and that's it.
yeah, we don't know what's happened since. So it's going to be really exciting to see where she's been all this time. Um,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I really hope they use her theme from the animated shows.
yes, yeah.
Dude, that theme,
Oh man,
the
yeah,
most emotional scene where they do her theme is at the end of the season 2 finale of Rebels, and then the season 5 finale of Clone Wars where she leaves, and they like playing. They play the Star Wars theme, like the Force theme, except it's depressing. It's dun dun dun. It's like depressing violin. It's
yeah,
like, oh my god. Um, but yeah, I
it,
really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to see Ahsoka. I mean,
yeah.
that's honestly what I care about.
Ahsoka, yeah, like Ahsoka is like, I'm gonna freak out so hard when I see her. I hope that like they have her do like kick some serious bootay in that episode,
We're gonna see a lightsaber.
and they let her like do some epic action sequences or something awesome like that. So I'll like just freak out because like they gave Bo-Katan some really cool action scenes.
Oh yeah.
So I'd expect them to give.
Oh no, I forgot to talk about. I loved in the last episode when he dove out of the ship and used a jetpack.
Yes, I love
Oh, it'd
that.
be so awesome.
And,
You
and
know
I
what they could do
and I
if
love.
they really want to milk Mandalorian? They should do a video game in the style of Fallen Order.
Yeah, that'd be
I
fun.
mean, if they really want to milk it, I mean, they'd make a ton of money. I'd play that.
I would. I'd play as him. That'd be really
Yeah,
fun.
and you would one of your abilities would be using Baby Yoda, using the Force.
Yeah. But speaking of ships, I loved when the ship was like doing that like hype like super speed into the TIE fighter as he was shooting the TIE fighter like
Oh
that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then he was doing that and Baby Yoda's just sitting there like
I don't know. That was, dude. The way they directed that Tie Fighter sequence in the new episode was amazing.
how it was so cool.
You
And that
can watch these episodes as short Star Wars short films.
yeah. And just with like much higher budgets because like the whole TIE fighter chase was just like gripping and just was on the edge I was just like on the edge of my seat watching it. Especially once they lost their gun that they were firing with, that Carl Weathers was using. And it's so funny because I like at first I thought, okay, are you just like a bad shot and can't hit any of them? Or are you like trying to do a plan here to like shoot at the rocks so it like collapses on the TIE fighters or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I thought he was doing.
Yeah, that's what I got the idea that he was doing is he was trying to shoot at the wall so it would like collapse on the TIE fighters but it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah. I think what's gonna happen with Ahsoka, not to speculate too much, she's gonna be in this one episode, and then she'll be more of a recurring character next season.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us. This is a very long episode.
Very long.
um,
Yeah, we kind of went on some tangents here and there, but
yeah,
it was fun.
definitely. But this will not be the last you see of us. This will not be the last of us. There
No,
will be a part 2.
no, well, there will be a part 2, and there will maybe even be a part 3. So
Yeah. Okay.
um,
See you all later. Bye.
yeah, see ya. Bye.